training number 2 for P&O Princess Cunard. Actually, it's training number 3, isn't it? So we've done the initial P&O system, bit of an overview. We've done the training, and what I'm going to sort of go to now, it probably seems a bit backwards, but I'm actually going to go back and I'm going to Princess. So the reason I'm doing it is you'll notice that the booking system itself is exactly the same, but their flights are very, very different. So it's something that we really, really do need to look into. It's definitely something that people need to be aware of before they just go ahead and think that they can book a Princess cruise. It gets a little bit funny. So I'm going to share my screen. When it comes to the P&O and the Cunard, a couple of people have brought this up to me that when they log into Complete Cruise Solution, they're struggling to find Princess. So for the booking itself, the booking portal, it does not matter what you go into. So I'm just going to show you here, Complete Cruise Solution. I am going to log in and I'm going to go over to Polo, which is the booking system. See there, you've got P&O, Princess and Cunard. Does not matter. You will not get into trouble. It's still the same system. It's a live system, etc. So if you want to do that, you can go ahead and do that. If you were to read up on it, it will tell you to go to One Source Cruises for Princess. The difference is basically the training. So you can see there, One Source. It will still be the same login details. It just looks ever so slightly different. So your main difference is if you have watched the training from Tuesday, you'll know that when we logged in, we could only get trainings up for P&O and for Cunard. So this is your main difference by logging into One Source in comparison to Complete Cruise Solution. Your training and everything is up here, but you'll only find Princess. But when it comes to book and manage cruises, you'll see it takes you straight back to the exact same one as Complete Cruise Solution does. So, as I've mentioned before, this system, you really can get quite nitty-gritty with it. So I'm going to stick to the basics for now, and we'll go deeper into the ins and outs as and when we need to. Don't really think we're going to need to manage any bookings at the moment. I don't know of anybody that's got any groups, etc. Future cruise credits we probably will come across sooner or later, but I know for now we're just going to stick to how to create a booking and keep it nice and simple. So exactly the same as P&O and Princess. If your customers, P&O and Cunard, if your customers have travelled with Princess before, you can search their member number or you can search their phone number. Just because it's been brought up to me, something I will tell you is if you pop a phone number in there and search, if you have a couple, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, who both associate with that telephone number, which 9 times out of 10 is going to happen, what you need to do is you need to put one of them as passenger 1 and one of them as passenger 2. It's a funny system in the fact that it automatically puts them both as passenger 1, but then won't allow you to proceed. That's exactly what you need to do. Number 1, number 2. If you've got a family on there, you might be adding number 3 and number 4 as well. So then for your cruise search, this initial part, forget this for the time being. This is very much for the likes of Alaska and what have you. Again, I'm keeping it simple for now, so we're just going to forget the right-hand side for the time being. I can take anybody through it one-on-one as and when they need to, but I'd rather not start too deep when I don't really think anybody's going to need that section. So with regards to the left-hand side, you'll see it's very, very similar to your P&O and your Cunard. So I'm going to do exactly the same as what I would do. So I want Manchester and I do want flights. My customers are going to go around the 15th of November. They don't care what ship they're on. As we've mentioned before, it always automatically generates there as a mini suite. You can change that going forward, so don't worry about that. I've got 2 passengers in my made-up scenario here who don't know where they want to go and they don't know for how many nights. So I'm going to search by date. And what we've got here is exactly the same as previous. So you've got your ship along the top, you've got your departure date, you've got your nights and what the product is. So you can see there, Eastern and Southern Caribbean, Asia, Australia, transatlantic, Mexico to LA, Mexico to San Fran, Western Caribbean, Eastern Western Caribbean, and Southern Classic Caribbean. And then your itineraries, you can click on each one of those and find out what the itinerary is. The voyage number, should you need it. And every now and again, you may well get somebody who's that well travelled and knows sort of the ins and outs of the cruises and might say to you, you know, it's cruise number R529. You can pop that in on the first page, make it easy for yourself. You've got your route on there, so where it's flying from and to. And then again, slightly different with Princess, but these are still your state routes. So just because I fancy 20 nights in the Caribbean, I'm going to click on this one and I'm going to save and continue. So this is just where it gets ever so slightly different. So at the beginning where it asks you what you want and it's automatically generated as a mini suite, it then brings you up mini suite. As you can see, you can just change it there. Closed, closed, open, open, guarantee. So if it's closed, there are no cabins left under those areas. If it's open, then obviously you've got some choices. And if it's guaranteed, it's saying that it is available, but not with cabin numbers. It's a guaranteed mini suite. So you will get a mini suite. It will be forward on the ship, but you won't have a choice of cabin number or anything like that. So I'm just going to go for a mid forward because I'm not made of money. Like I'm going for 20 nights anyway. And I'm going to save and continue. So again, slightly different to what we see with P&O and Cunard. But here you've got your decks, which again, just thinking of agents that have looked at cruises and stuff of late. I don't think you get any of that with P&O. So that's quite nice to be able to see there. So on deck 16, which is Lido deck, that you can see there is closed. Deck 15 is closed. Deck 14, again, we've got guaranteed cabins, no cabin numbers. Deck 12, I've got at least 9 available. 9 is the maximum number it goes to. 10 and 11, I've only got guarantees. And deck 8, I've got 7. Now, again, as per P&O and Cunard, this is where you can also do your fare comparisons. So it tells you what promo you're on there, NP1. You can do your fare comparisons and you can see exactly what they've got available. MP1, Premier Plus, just do one at a time. Let's not. Nothing left on Premier Plus. Premier 75. We do have. So this is going to give us the unlimited Premier beverage package, the Wi-Fi, the fitness classes, etc., etc. You can see all of that there. So why not? I'm going all out tonight. It's available on the mini suite that I have asked for. And there I am. So I'm just going to go through to my price. I know that was quite long-winded, but I just wanted to show you the similarities and the differences with the P&O and Cunard system. Okay, so you can see there I've got my onboard credit, I've got my total cost, I've got my transfers, etc. Taxes, fees and port expenses are all in there. And if you remember at the beginning, I asked for Manchester. So I've got Manchester. air is a yes. Transfers are always automatically included as well, because obviously we're keeping it as a package this way. And where they differ to some others, P&O actually, great example. When we looked at a flight option with P&O, and I think off the top of my head, we had a look at like a Barbados one. It told us that the flights were available from Manchester that we asked for. That was that. You go ahead and you book it. Now with this, you can actually click into plain sailing there. So this may take a minute or two because it is a completely live system. And you can see here the flights. I'm just going to zoom down dead quick. It's showing there 45 flights are found. And there you go. Each one is down there. So you've got your recommended here at the top. So they go for top pick, they go for lowest price, and they go for shortest flights. You don't have to choose those. You can absolutely just make your way through. As you can see here. Let's have a look. We don't really want 2 stops. Let's filter it down to 1. Certainly for that price difference as well. I've got 6 hours in Atlanta there. Looks like they're right. So they're all 6 hours in Atlanta. It's not ideal for me, but hey ho, suppose it's only a fake booking. So you can go into the full details there. You can go into the fare restrictions, and you can have a look at the luggage, if it's included or if it isn't. And then, although when I've ticked 1 stop, everything restricted has disappeared. I don't know if anybody noticed that. For 2 stops, you can see that I've got flexible and restricted fares available. And here I haven't. But straight away, that's not going to matter to anybody because we want to know what flexible and restricted fares are. So if you have a restricted fare, it's pretty much like booking a flight only, if you imagine it that way. So you have to pay for them now. You can see that just down here. So you pay for them in full at the time of the booking, and they are non-refundable, non-transferable. If you book a flexible fare, you're still entitled. Again, it's exactly the same as what a package holiday would be in comparison to a flight only booking. So if you book a flexible fare, it effectively gets added into the cruise. You are still able to pay a deposit. They have a no change fee. I believe that is only 1, just to let you know. But you can change your flights with no fee. That should have a big asterisk by it, because bear in mind, if you went from the flight that we're looking at here, which had 6 hours in Atlanta, to, let's just say for argument's sake, they were available, to a direct flight that was double the cost, you would obviously still have to pay the cost difference of the flights. They're just not going to charge you a change fee. And they are fully refundable until the cruise final payment. So that is your difference between a flexible and a restricted. So I'm just going to select that. Long connection flight, and the earliest recommended arrival time for Fort Lauderdale is 5 o'clock. That's absolutely fine. So anything that you do need to know, obviously, as you can see, it will tell you there as well. And then coming home from Miami, it's giving me Iceland Air, 2 hours and 5 minutes, and then back over to Manchester. And you can see that is an additional £0 per person. So the cost that was on the last one, I think it's £4.05. That's the flight that they've included in that cost. If they want to change and go for someone like Delta, where they've got a couple of hours or so in Atlanta, you can see there's an additional £115 per person. I'm happy with that one. And I'll be in Reykjavik coming back for a couple of hours. So your full information is now there. You can see again, £808.12. So it come up as 405, but obviously it was just under that, 404 something each for the flights. And they're the ones that I want. You get all your T's and C's there. Again, any baggage fees, etc., everything will come under there. I've read it all, I've understood that, and I'm continuing with that. And then you can see there, please return to Polar and refresh the screen. So do exactly what it says correctly. So I've just gone back into it, refresh the page. So you can see now the main difference is that the airfare of £404.06 per person has now been added on. So whereas previously the total was 8,000 and something, I've now got those flights added in there. I've got my new total cost. As I say, transfers are always included when you're adding on the plain sail flights. That keeps it all bonded, keeps it all as one package. And then exactly the same as the other two, the Cunard and the P&O. You've got your commission down there. You've got your deposit that's due, and then you've got the total balance and the date that that is due as well. From there, when you save and continue, it will then give you the mini suites, which is what obviously we went for, that are currently available. So it might be that your customers aren't too fussed. It might be that they want to be on a specific side of the ship, be that starboard or port side. It may not be bothered at all, and you can just go ahead and, click any. And as I say, some are very, very particular when it comes to these things. If you do have a customer, so I went into one that showed that there was 9 cabins available. And as I say, that is the maximum number that it will ever show. So you can see here, it's given me A315 to A327 available. If you have a customer who wants a specific cabin number, down here, you can type in what number they want. Now, I don't have a brochure to hand, so you will just have to bear with me here. So let's say that the customer wants A340. You can then sort that, and it will tell you it's not available and there's nothing next door either side. You'd have to click on a guarantee cabin. If they want A330, no. Oh, there we go. That one actually is available, so they could have that if they wanted it. Now, I don't know if you did notice, but that didn't come up on the initial list of cabins that were available. So, as I say, you may find that some clients, very particular, please can you check this? You absolutely can go ahead and check it down there, and it will bring you up if there's one sort of either side or the exact cabin that you've asked for. And then you can save and continue on that. And this is where you pop the customer's details in. So you will notice that middle names are in red. So if they have a middle name on their passport, you absolutely do need to put it in there. And if they don't, you have to physically tick that they don't have a middle name. Gender is also on there. I appreciate in this day and age that may not be to everybody's liking, but unfortunately that is something that you have to put in. And there are the 2 options on there of male and female. The other thing you do have to put in is how you want the bedding. So if they want 2 separate beds, or obviously the 1 queen size bed, so you do have to pop that in there as well. And just as with P&O and Cunard, if they are open to any upgrade, if they're only open to the next available type, so we're on a mini suite here, that could be a higher grade of mini suite or a suite, and then the do not upgrade. And the same goes for the other 2. If they choose open to any upgrade and they are given one, you cannot decline it. And then all you would do is go ahead and click book now. That would be that done and dusted. You would get your reference number, etc., all up here. You would then obviously go over to eCompay and take the deposit or the balance, depending on, of course, what was being offered and when the customers were traveling. So let me just thank everybody for tonight's training.